Shopify kick in from last game and kind of find your own timings here. But with Shopify Rebellion, with this Pudge, I mean, if Artur gets to a good start and gets his Ags timing, I don't know if you're really that worried about this game.
Let's see how it all pans out. Game 2. Shopify one game away from securing a 2-0 victory to start DreamLeague Season 21 on the right foot for themselves. And of course, Entity trying to force a draw here 1-1 with Shopify if they can. Both teams going to the opposite side of the map right now. It seems like Shopify want to try and play around the dire triangle. And Entity, they'll go the exact opposite way towards the Radiant Triangle instead. Kind of thing as well when you're up against Pudge, you know, you don't want to get hooked at level 1 by the bounty runes if you can avoid it. It's almost just a guaranteed death if you do. Abed now having a look for this this ward in the tier 1 mid. Entity seeing the TA, getting ready to go for a bit of a fight, but will not do it yet. It seems like Shopify will back their way out to the other side again, so they might have to fight some Naga illusions, but that's about it. See if Shopify can secure these bounties. And it seems like they can. 2 for 2, by the way, in case the math was a bit too hard there.
Yeah, it can be a little bit hard for me. Thank you, Mike, for considering my situation.
Shall we start with the bottom lane, Jonathan? Sand King and Muerta are going to be up against, of course, Fly and the Pudge of Arteezy. What do you think about this bottom lane?
It's a pretty solid lane for both sides. Again, there's some aggression that you can pull off with Muerta. You do start off with the Blightstone here for Kataomi, so you can start to just apply some good long-range harass, but you have to respect the eventual plays that can come out from Fly and Artur. Like this simple setup, like Nightmare into Hook into Tower, not gonna be too hard to pull off. I mean, it's a really stable setup, and it's hard to shove out the Pudge. And he is highly durable. You have to kind of try to split your shots up. It's gonna be really hard to try to commit right-click harass from Kataomi onto the Pudge without the threat of being run down. So it leads to maybe a bit of a slower start here for Amar. But overall, this farming lane, once Amar hits like level 3, the lane can be a little bit easier to manage.
On the top lane, of course, Watson and Fishman going at it with Crit and Saberlight. Well, last game around, Saberlight had a very dominant laning stage, but at least for now, Watson's having a much better time already. Yeah, it hasn't died yet, which is a big positive for him. Seems like both sides should have a pretty decent time as well. Like, it seems like one of those laning stages for Entity and Shopify where it should be a pretty even affair. Like, sure, you've still got the kill potential here from either side, but for now, they're just going to take it easy, it seems.
Yeah,
mid lane, Abed was dropping really low.
Yeah, I'm liking that shakeup from Stormstormer. Just realizing there's no refraction, so you can kind of get a little bit more aggressive. Once you do hit the 1-1-1 on Abed, it does become a lot more manageable there. So that's where refraction's up, you're not able to harass as well. And it's going to be that same story from the last game. Although, for now, with this kind of early start, 11-5, the denies are going to help Stormstormer a ton in trying to get a stronger start here.
If I can't have you, no one.
Well, so far, no first blood being drawn quite yet. That side's just securing those early levels. Mid lane matchup is fairly even once again as expected. CS not too far ahead for anyone as top lane, Fishman gonna get jumped here on the silencer. Saberlight landing the Starbreaker very well, and it's that combination you get between Crit and Saberlight. The shards into the Starbreaker with the tag team, it's just so much damage. And there's no real way out. Like, once you get caught by the shards, Saberlight just lands the freest Celestial Hammer of his life, and it's just into the Starbreaker.
Yeah, there's not much you can do to really stop this. I mean, as a Naga, you don't want to get the value point in Ensnare. That could cut off that aggression, but again, it's not a typical laning build-up that you want for the Naga. Fishman, he can always try to pull them back with Arcane Curse, but it doesn't feel like they care too much. They don't have the most spammable spells on the side of Shopify Rebellion, so they've always got a mana pool to play with, and it's not going to sustain too long in that Arcane Curse. Overall, this kind of start for the side of Shopify is pretty strong. Again, if this maintains momentum for Saberlight, he hits the same timings. That's where things really start to go southbound. When this Dawnbreaker became #1 in net worth and just took control of the game early on.
Absolutely.
Stays with me.
I haven't looked at this Pudge again. In fact, hold that thought, because Stormstormer, he's not going to rotate top. I was going to say, the Pudge is having the greatest time down in this bottom lane. Top CS on the board. The Kataomi obviously not able to do too much to slow him down on the Pudge, and neither is ATF. Fly, he does feel a little bit in danger against the Muerta, I think, because we did see a bit of a chase here from Kataomi earlier, but it doesn't amount to much, and I do wonder if Entity, they're a little bit concerned about how easily the Pudge is farming, or whether they're just happy about the fact that ATF is farming just as well.
You can still manage the Pudge early on. And again, you've got some decent physical output. Something like your Pango can try to shred him down later on. And the Calling can kind of do some good work. The Muerta with a Pierced Veil can also do some good work, so you have to be careful about being hooked into tower just a little bit.
Kataomi always has the Calling to drop if necessary, and it'll be enough to get them away this time around. Seems like Fishman's going to rotate down to the bottom lane through the Twin Gates now, so they've got an extra hero here to try and secure Arteezy's life. So Fishman, he's got that level 2 Arcane Curse. They're going to try and make the jump in. Arteezy, already dropping very, very low. Should just go down, but a nice Nightmare from Fly. Going to try and buy him a little bit more time. Arteezy's still running, but no. He is down to the Calling of Kataomi. They do at least get Fishman as a trade, but it's a fantastic kill to get things started for Entity.
Seeing that power of the Muerta Sand King, just to pull back with a dead shot into the Burrow Strike with a lot of setup on the Caustic, on the Creep Wave. And the Pudge can just whittle down in short order. At least they find something to compensate, but they're still feeling pretty happy on Entity. Up top, though.
Yeah, top. Watson is going to die. That is not great news if you are Entity. And tips are out from Saberlight immediately.
Jeez.
Loving his life right now on the Dawnbreaker. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Fly going to set up onto ATF now. So ATF, a bit of a sitting duck as Arteezy's going to move in. Hook is now available, so they could throw one out, and it's on point. Beautiful angle from Arteezy. And ATF has no way out of that situation. There's Stormstormer. And he makes the rotation over, but is he really going to commit for this? He will try. He will land the stun onto crit at least, but that's about it. It's a bit of a desperate Rolling Thunder attempt, and it doesn't really amount to much.
That's a rare one, Mike. The double balls coming out. You don't tend to see them rolling around at the same time every single
Very
time,
good.
but it does come out. I enjoy that treat. That's all Stormstormer wanted to do. Just bring out both of the different balls, the rolling balls around. It's like a, what is it, a double football match. I don't know how sports work, Mike. Did you have 2 balls in football?
I don't know, Jonathan. I have no idea. Fly. Gonna get caught trying to steal the Wisdom Rune. Not gonna work out in his favor. Saberlight in the meantime, though, just kills off Fishman as Fly is still actually running. Fly surely does not make it out of this. He's being as annoying as possible, though, now with the Enfeeble to slow down Kataomi, but eventually they'll get the kill. Even ATF securing the kill for himself in the Sand King, but top lane, Watson is down a second time to Saberlight, who's just completely destroying them on this Dawnbreaker.
He's just running down. Again, as a Naga, you're never going to pick up that value point in ensnare. So, Searlight's just always free to run in, use all his spells, get the kill. He did have to pop Solar Guardian, but you don't have level 6 up just yet in Fishman. You don't have the interrupt we were talking about. And Shopify Rebellion, again, off to a good start. Like, this mid lane has equalized for Abed. He's digging into the jungle. And they're getting all their timings lined up.
They certainly are. Mid lane, now they're set up with the sleep, so Abed can move in for the Melt Strike, and Stormstormer can be forced again to pop that Rolling Thunder defensively, though he might actually find Fly with this. Fly getting very, very low. Crit just trying to chase down Fishman in the meantime, so it is going to be a 1-for-1 of those supports. Meanwhile, Arteezy goes down. Bottom lane, they've lost the position 1 Pudge. That's huge for Entity.
That's big. Just getting that punishment. You don't find the big mid kill you'd want. You only find a silencer. And you still get cleaned up on that Bane. So you get some good punishment out for Entity. But it still feels like even slowing down the Pudge like this, it's not the biggest deal. Like, as long as Arturo manages to hit a decent timing on the Yags anyway, you still don't have anything to worry about. The Naga's gonna take some time to come online. They're pressuring the heroes that need tempo here. Shopify, you're just keeping an eye on mid.
Kataomi just getting deleted by Saberlight, and now with the snowball out, they've caught Stormstormer, and he's just gone. Stormstormer is down, Saberlight finding a double kill once again. And I do agree with you, John. I love the way they're playing this, just constantly forcing out Rolling Thunders from this Pango, just not allowing him to move from the mid lane, and just taking him out. Like it's just so rough.
Yeah, they're forcing all this attention onto mid because, well, they can't really play off the back of Watson right now, right? Like, you try to rotate for the Naga. She doesn't have Song, she doesn't have Ensnare. There's not much you can really do if you try to go for the saving play. On mid, you could always try to play aggressive with a Pango. They're getting punished severely. This is buying so much space in the side lanes. Arturo gets to recover. Working on that Axe. Saberlight is going into his Echo Saber. He has Solar Guardian ready, so they can try to make another play. And until Fishman hits level 6, this is always going to be a recurring issue. Like, how do you stop that Solar Guardian? How do you stop the grip? There's no easy answer until those levels are up on the Silencer.
Absolutely not. Yeah, hell, even when you've got it up, like, Fly could just wait. Just make it so Global Silence never gets popped. Just in fear of the Fiend's Grip as Watson being chased now. The Solar Guardian gonna fly in, but it won't land this time, so Watson will be safe. Let's have Fishman moving in to help out. Saberlight in the meantime with the TP out is just fine because they don't have a cancel. No points in Ensnare, no stun available, so just TP away. Nothing they could do.
Just bail out. We saw Stormstormer again roll around for the Rune. It's as you said, Mike. He's finding runes now. He was having a tough time for it earlier on. Just with the positioning of Shopify Rebellion. Like, at least he has the Arcane. So he has that to play with when Rolling Thunder's back up. But this pacing. And on paper, you're kind of happy about giving some room out to a Naga, but just look at the farm distribution in Shopify. The fact that Saberlight's still number 1, has the Echo Saber coming in. The fact that Arturo, even after dying a couple of times in lane, is getting a free ride down bot into his Ags. It's still worrying. They are starting to clump around his bot lane.
Yeah, tips coming out from Arteezy. ETF and Arteezy having a bit of fun. Stormstormer looking to have a bit of fun himself now with an Arcane Rune. He's going to try and make the jump in. Onto the Pudge that has no Rolling Thunder available. Crit into the Walrus Punch, so Stormstorm almost goes down, but now the calling makes it very hard to get out. Great fight so far from Entity. They'll chase down Arbet. Arbet is okay to retreat. But Entity, they'll get away once again with the POS 1 Pudge. And now Crit on top of that. And of course the tier 1 bottom tower to boot is probably just set to fall.
They didn't quite have Solar Guardian to try to help out in that play. Oh.
They want the Dawnbreaker. Fishman's having a look for him, but it seems like Saberlight kind of got the memo to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Fishman.
Oh.
Snowball out. Crit. Can initiate once again. Fishman immediately just deleted by the Starbreaker, but now the chase is on. Watson, he'll ensnare up the Dawnbreaker, so Saberlight in a spot of danger, but he's not really taking enough damage. So he's okay to back his way out, and he will just TP. In fact, he might just be able to fight bottom if a nice hook lands from Arteezy. He's got the Solar Guardian up, so just needs someone to initiate. Or maybe just rely on Crit instead, because Crit is having a look around with the Snowball now for somebody. In the meantime, Arbet just casually taking the tier 1 mid tower. It's Fly. Has the Fiend's Grip up, waiting for the Global Silence, of course, to be used first. Behind them, Kataomi is sneaking up on Fly, but there's your Snowball. Solar Guardian, going to be committed as well. Fishman is in trouble, but does get the Global Silence off before they can actually... Well, in fact, they did pop the Fiend's Grip, so he gets it off perfectly before he dies. Now Arbet getting caught on the TA. Arbet. Oh, there could be some perma-stunning coming because ATF does show up with the Burrow Strike, and now the Epicenter ATF. Oh, he's got enough. He's barely got enough to take down Arbet. Another great fight for Entity.
It's time to get it together. With that level 6 up, with the spell cancellations ready on Fishman, that instant teleportation, well, not instant, but that potential for Saberlight to just show up from across the map is taken away. So you've got your solutions here on the side of Entity, and that's where they can start to find this momentum. They can start to buy out that much-needed space for their Naga. The full Midas up and running on Watson, going into the Yashin next. You are still set up for these timings, though, on the side of Shopify Rebellion. Like, the Ags for RTZ, it's not going to be too far off, 2 parts away. So, round about 2,000 gold away, and that's the point where this Pudge is really set to just show up. He is just going to melt through all the illusions, melt through all the heroes. They will need a way of just stopping Amar from having this much impact with a blink. The Sand King blink has been massive, and he's got some ancient stacks cleared out for himself as well. So potentially going into the Ags build-up, perhaps, for Amar. And once you get that chain stun off, I mean, that's where this game becomes a little bit of a nightmare for the side of Shopify if they're not too careful.
Speaking of Shopify, they do pop a smoke, trying to rotate through the northern jungle, maybe find Watson on the Naga Siren, and they are running right towards him, in fact. Problem is, he's right in the corner. They won't go that deep past the tier 2 tower. Instead, rotating back into the mid lane, see if they can secure a T1 mid and maybe a hero kill for themselves. They don't have Solar Guardian for another 4 seconds. They don't really need it, to be absolutely fair. That seems like the smoke amounts to nothing. Entity are already prepped for a defense onto that mid tier 1 if necessary anyway, so Saberlight's going to back his way out. I suppose maybe it is just the best idea to wait for the Ags timing of RTZ first before you want to try and get aggressive here as Shopify. No need to really go too much earlier.
Yeah. You can just kind of hold back, farm up. I mean, again, you're waiting for this key Ags timing for Artur, only 1 part away now. You've got the blink coming out for Abed relatively soon. The one thing for Shopify, if the fight does break out, they've got to find a way to instantly burst down Fishman. Mid tower does fall anyway with a siege creep up, so you still find the objective you'd want here on the side of Shopify Rebellion. They didn't have to really commit too much, so you're pretty happy again with the map state right now. The one concern is that Watson is farming up a storm. It's almost the same story from the last game where he's number 2 in net worth right behind Saberlight, which, after a rough lane, once more the illusions are coming into play. And Entity does have the room to shove in mid. So they've got space to equalize map control just a bit. Again, they've got all their spells ready.
Caught by ATF, the blink bar strike right in. Nice start here for Entities. They will be able to secure the tier 1 mid, no problem. Shopify not around to try and defend that at all. And now the immediate run down bottom. They want to see if they can find Arteezy, and he's right underneath vision. Oh, it's going to be a massive pick-off. Kataomi knowing which way he went. Trying to cut him off, but I think they're too late. Or maybe not. Arteezy, oh, he wants to keep farming. He wants to keep farming. Kataomi still chasing, but no, can't get a dead shot off. Doesn't get the angle. That's going to be it. TP's coming into the bottom tier 2 tower. Prepping for a defense attempt. ATF has actually backed out of here to defend the top lane, so this could be a nice fight for Shopify to try and force. Crit's having a look around. Snowball will come out onto Kataomi. Shards on the mark. Ensnare is there from Watson to try and help out. Meanwhile, Soul Guardian coming in from Saberlight. Abed, he's in the front lines against Fishman, but Fishman is able to walk out. In fact, the only one dying right now is Crit, who does go down to the Arcane Curse of all things. And that was about it. Just one going down. Both sides get out of there. Nothing else will come of this.
And a little bit of a shame they couldn't find more here for Shopify. Entity, good position to kind of back off. They managed to stall out that fight. They get a really good calling out from Kataomi. Again, just slow down the chase, which is kind of giving Shopify Rebellion a taste of their own medicine. At least with, like, the Warlock.
Bottom. It's Member out onto Stormstormer. He still manages to get the Rolling Thunder off, though. In fact, he might just turn right back onto Arteezy. In comes Saberlight to try and help, and Stormstormer, he'll take that as his exit. It's time to leave. The kill's not happening. But he will make it out. No real punishment here for the Pangolin.
Close call for Artur, but yeah, just not quite enough coming through once the Rolling Thunder is up. Does have that full Ags on the Pudge. And again, that's where things can get pretty scary playing into this big tanky hero. The illusions will not hold up here from Watson. They will just not, even with the Heart of Harass being built up here by the Naga. But the one thing you do have on Entity is that you can scale up really damn well. Like, if this game drags on, you've got a Muerta that can step into a core position at some point if given room to farm up. You've got a Sand King who has so many ways of growing. Full Lotus Orb up and running now on Amar. That makes it even tougher to try to pin down the Sand King as well. And eventually get some like the Ags. And things start to pile up. So, let's see. I feel like this timing from Shopify, it's still online, but kind of don't want to stall it out too hard, as even though you've got a way of clearing out some of the Naga illusions, it can be tougher. And you're dealing with Solar Guardian and Grip into Silencer, which is not easy as they do find Fly.
Yeah, Fly going down to the bottom lane. Pretty easy pick off here for Stormstormer, who has found his third kill of the game now on the Pangolier. Top lane, Saberlight's also going to be chased down by Fishman and Kataomi. They'll land the dead shot, but they don't have a core nearby to really help them secure a kill onto Saberlight. Saberlight does have his BKB up anyway, so chances are he was not going to die. And then again, like, you have a bit of a slower mid-game here between these two teams. Entity, they will travel through the Twin Gates up towards the top side of the map to see if they can find Saberlight, who has actually stuck around. They'll see him on the Dawnbreaker. In fact, the chase is on. No, in fact, they saw Arbit on the TA, who's already run out of there. Crit might be the one they have to jump on. In fact, no, ATF. He does catch the TA. The double damage room baiting him forward. But both are still running. Diffusal Blade out. Arbit, slow it up now. Meanwhile, Saberlight kills off Fishman and the Solar Guardian's gonna fly in. Arbit is somehow still alive, but surely goes down now. And he does. They want a little bit more. They'll find Fly with the Burrow Strike. Starbreaker though, Saberlight landing on 2, still going after the Sand King, but ATF looking to be okay for now. And the Sandstorm though, I can't say the same for the Pangolier, as Arteezy has joined in, but Stormstormer is okay to walk out because ATF cancels off the Fiend's grip. And the tips are out from ATF again.
And that fight was on Amar. Like, he got a really good use of the Lotus Orb, getting that snowball back his way, saving them from that jump back in on Shopify Rebellion. They managed to bait out really nicely with the DD, and they force out all the spells in a really good manner here from the side of Entity. Like, they play that fight really damn clean, and this is the worry for Shopify Rebellion, right? Like, even though you have some counters on hand with a Pudge, it's not going to be that durable up against the Naga. Like, yes, you can melt the illusions, but you also just melt the Riptide without any armor up on this Pudge. And you're going to need more farm for Arturin. He's way behind in net worth. That farm distribution in Shopify is pretty clean, but they're all really falling short of the mark in comparison to how much Watson's able to get out now.
Roshan now under siege. Entity feeling very, very confident. Watson is absolutely huge on this Naga Siren. Roshan, it's not going to last too long here. Shopify trying to perhaps move in, but even if they did, I don't think there's too much they can do here. They are not strong enough against this Naga. Aegis will be taken by Storm for now, and or Shopify, they are certainly the ones very far behind. In fact, Dota Plus is sitting at 95% the way of Entity, which is a huge mark to have at the 22-minute mark. ATF jumping in, finds Crit on the Tusk, and Crit, I mean, he could try for a snowball, but that's even on cooldown. Doesn't even have that option. He's just forced to die.
No, I'd agree with the odds from Dota Plus. I think this game just doesn't get any easier for Shopify Rebellion. Like, you've always got to jump Fishman first. You have to take care of this Global Silence. If you don't, your initiation gets ruined, your counter initiation gets ruined, you have a lot of channeled spells. They jump Saberlight.
Yeah, Saberlight. I mean, he's still a pretty tanky boy here on the Dawnbreaker, but the chase is on. He's got a BKB available if he needs it, but he'll rely on Arteezy to land the hook. And that's going to be enough. ATF still chasing, has the blink up, but it does get enfeebled. Still looking. TF probably not going to find the opening. There is going to be a quick pause out by Saberlight. But it seems like Shopify Rebellion are well and truly just getting themselves out of here. They don't want a bar of this at all. And instead, they'll have to watch their T2 bottom tower just drop for free.
Nice objective to find for the side of Entity. No counterplay that you can really expect from Shopify Rebellion. So the thing with Shopify Rebellion scaling, it's a lot in Abed, almost, right? Like it has to be this TA to kind of carry you through with physical output. You're relying on Pudge with the Rod to mainly clear out the illusions, but the brunt of the damage will have to come out from Abed. He is working towards that Daedalus on the TA. It could be possible that, honestly, a BKB feels almost necessary as well for Abed if you can try to farm into that. And once you have that, these fights are a little bit more manageable, but again, we're ways off from that. Entity still maintaining an 8k lead. Full heart up and running on Watson. Butterfly not too far off now. And Sableye trying to be annoying here.
I mean, he's being annoying for sure, but the problem is it may cost him his life. Celestial Hammer to the high ground. She'll crash up in a moment, though he does BKB and just TP away. Successfully drags quite a few heroes back here from Entity, and that's really all he wanted, is to just try and buy more space for his team to get to a stage where they can actually successfully fight back. Now, pings are coming out towards ATF at the top lane, but I don't think they can actually deal with him on the Sand King even. They might try, though. They are running up towards him, but not with enough bodies, I don't think. Stormer? I mean, even the Pangolier with the Aegis up is not looking like the easiest target, that's for sure. Crit may get spotted. Crit. Oh, nice blink away. He's quick. Problem is the Rolling Thunder is going to be following him down, and with the defusal laid out, they will purge him up. Snowball back towards the creep wave, and Crit is still blinking out. He does juke them very nicely. But Entity, they're still going to find the T2 mid tower. There's no defending this.
No. They just have to bleed out these objectives, Shopify, and just try to farm. I have to say, we haven't really felt the impact of this pause one Pudge, right, from our tour. Like, he hits this Ags timing around that mark, you feel like the Pudge should be showing up, he should be trying to run down, but they don't find the openings. He goes back to farm, working onto the BKB. And that could be of help. That could be when Pudge starts to get active. It does feel like no one's setting tempo right now in Shopify, outside of maybe Saberlight. I think he's still doing a good job putting his body forward, stalling out for time here.
Speaking of the devil, Saberlight getting caught this time around will pop his BKB once again and go for the TP out, and he's made it. No problem. Sure, it costs you some BKB charges and a long cooldown, but that's about it. Though Arteezy could be an even better target to find, and it seems like they have. ATF all over it. Has caught the Pudge. Ensnare out from Watson, just locking him down, and Arteezy, he's going to try for a dismember. But there's really nothing he can do, it seems, as he will go down.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
It's space for the real carry in Abed, I suppose, clearing out that bot. He is getting a little bit of farm for himself and some objectives off the map. But again, it doesn't feel like this Pudge is doing too much. Again, it's not down to Artur, but the hero feels like it missed its timing almost, and it's just not scaling up in the way you'd want it to. Entity still in control of the game, 9k up. They've got some room to play in this bot lane here for the side of Shopify Rebellion. NKB being up for Abed. Understanding that the Butterfly's already up in Watson, at least has one way to deal with that here.
Song out. Abed able to blink out just in the nick of time as Watson not able to quite get within range for the TA, so a little bit unfortunate they're up against Abed. An immediate smoke out from Shopify. Seeing the song is down, they want to try and force some kind of a play. They're running right towards the mid lane for now, right into Fishman. Crit might just secure the easy kill here onto the silencer as the smoke is broken. They have not found anyone yet though. Fishman able to juke them out for now, looking for the TP away, and does make it. Onto the high ground, Arteezy, he found Kataomi instead, and Kataomi just gonna get beans gripped up here by Fly. They are not messing around, they just want any kill they can get. And that'll be about it. They'll get the Muerta, but I don't know if they can really keep this fight going. They might just try though, seeing Watson moving in. ATF channeling the epicenter, looking for a nice target, though he tries to juke out this hook for now, and does make it out. Arteezy still threatening him with the rod. Meanwhile, Watson has moved in on the Naga. But is he even killable right now? It doesn't really feel like it. Onto the right side, Saberlight's jumped in onto Fishman. Meanwhile, Watson, he does kill off Fly. Fishman, probably gonna drop, does go down to Saberlight. Towards the south, though, Crit has also been caught by Watson. So it'll be a double kill out for the Naga Siren. In fact, they found Arteezy as well. Arteezy sticking around, forcing the buyback out from Crit to try and help out. Saberlight, he'll go for the Solar Guardian. They're trying to fight this one out. They've got the Naga. Watson's down. Turns out it is possible. They'll even find ATF.
Oh boy, that was the turnaround you're looking for from Shopify. They managed to take the fight without the global silence up so they could commit the Solar Guardian. They just pile on to this Naga. So far forward, no one to back Watson up there. And without a way of just trying to bail out the Naga, without the song to be popped through those BKBs, it's a little bit rough. You're seeing the output now of that Pudge kick into gear. With a BKB, he can survive through. With a Rot usage, quite fine in the middle of these engagements. And Entity lose some of the wind on their sails. They still have a pretty high likelihood of winning. They have a 5k lead under their belt. But it's not completely unplayable for Shopify if the right conditions are met. These supports have to be around for Entity. They have to be able to play around global silence. If not, then the threat of all of that counter control and the threat of just being able to dogpile onto this Naga is certainly still very much alive for Shopify.
It certainly is. It's like top lane Fly's trying to maybe set up onto this Muerta as we speak as well. Kataomi kind of just chilling out at the moment of the tree line. Our top lane.
Radiant
Now looking to perhaps move in here.
are scanning.
There we go. Watson's showed up as well. It seems like they found Fly on the Bane, so the Bane in huge trouble, and Arteezy just forced the BKB TP out of this one. So they'll lose Fly, but that's about it. Not really losing too much else.
No, not the biggest loss. Rolling Thunder down is pretty fine. Amar's still gunning for something else, though.
Yeah, bottom lane. Saberlight does get caught. You don't really have any other use of other stuns you can throw out, though. I suppose ATF did have the Yule Scepter, but probably wouldn't have been enough to really lock him down long enough. Saberlight able to just get himself out of there. It's like ATF's actually working towards a Wind Waker, by the way, on the Sand King. So I thought he might prioritize going for the Ags, because the Ags does feel like one of the strongest items right now for Sand King, but Wind Waker is the item he wants.
Switches it to the Halberd. I think he has a good understanding of what the team needs. You just need a way of preventing this output from Abed and, you know, just stopping that control, having a way of bailing out from these rougher fights as well. Getting a save out onto your Naga for that split second might be enough to get the Song for the Siren off. That also turns the fight around for them. So it's more about contributing to these fights. I mean, to be fair, Ags does contribute a big way, but it feels like probably for ATF, it doesn't feel like they need that additional control. Control's not the issue right now for Entity. So I can respect this from Amar. He knows what he's doing, of course, on that Sand King.
Certainly does. Almost 32 minutes in now. Still 16 to 21. Shopify on the defensive. Roshan is the objective that Entity are waiting for. It's still got a minute to go, so it's going to be the longer timer that we're looking at here for the Roshan. Highly doubt Shopify will try to contest this, though, to be fair. Probably just not in the book here for Shopify Rebellion. While all that was happening, could have sworn I just saw a pretty big item come out for somebody. I believe it was Watson, who has a full sight device up now on the Naga.
Dire's middle tower is under
It's in the backpack
control.
for now, but it's there.
Yeah, he's prioritizing that Midas cooldown. You know, no fight breaking out yet, so no rush. Put that side of Vice up. Still camping that Roche 20 seconds away when we
Dire's
find
middle tower is under attack.
its timer to be back up. I like this itemization, though, from Arteezy. Full Shiva's guard up, so he has the armor to deal with a little bit of that output from Watson. Not going to be under too much of a threat from the poke damage on the illusions, or not as much of a threat, because they will smoke up in Shopify.
I mean, I suppose you got to try and fight this Roshan attempt. Roshan has officially begun. Shopify is still trying to get towards that area. It's not a very slow Roshan either. They're almost halfway through it already. Nice scan out to see exactly where Shopify are coming in from. Roshan just about down. They need to make the jump in immediately. Saberlight looking to try and make that happen. Roshan's down, but Watson, he does outclick him for the Aegis. They've got the Aegis up here on the Naga Siren, and Saberlight's still going to try and hide in the backlines and find Fishman, though Fishman looks to be okay. And now the song cancelling the TP of Saberlight, just locking everyone down. Can they keep the fight going? It doesn't seem like Shopify can, but they will have to try. They'll move on to Watson, the Naga Siren, but she's got 2 lives available, so they'll go after the backside instead. Try to find ATF and Stormstormer, who are both dropping very low to Arteezy. They'll take down Stormstormer now. Maybe ATF is possible, but Kataomi's going to cut him off, ensuring they cannot continue after the Sand King for now. Though Abed, he has found ATF, and it seems like they will get the kill onto ATF. Or even Kataomi getting caught. How do they make that team fight work?
They managed to force out the spells rather early. You know, the Global Silence comes out a little bit earlier on. It's fragmented into 2 sides. Entity shoved into the corner. They can't really angle themselves out. We didn't see a good angle for ATF to really take with control there. And it falls apart. And Shopify do lose the Aegis. They have to deal with 2 lives on this Naga, but it's not an unreasonable ask at this point, but how they've itemized on Abed and on Arteezy. Like they have ways of still melting through this Naga Siren. And they even get the gold from Roshan, so it's not much, but you know, you're equalizing the game here for Shopify, and they've done a great job of doing that. Only down to a 1k lead for the side of Entity, and all of that is on Watson. Only Watson. So everyone else is starting to outfarm their equivalent cores on the other side. And it gets a little bit scary. You still have the tools needed here for Entity to take these fights, but they have to take these fights on their own terms. They've got to be the ones initiating. They can't afford to get jumped in first and are forced to pop mid-fight Global Silence without countering any of these spells. That can get a little bit dangerous, especially if you pop it and they still have the BKBs to play with here on Shopify.
Mid lane, they were a little bit cheeky there, trying to jump Saberlight, but he's okay to get out. Now a 5-man smoke though, Entity. They're going to try and make something big happen. Running right into Arteezy in that trigger line though. Arteezy, he does eventually get scattered out and they'll make the jump in. Stormstormer gets the Rolling Thunder off. They'll leave Arteezy for now, go after Crit instead on the Tusk though. He does manage to force Staff away, and now, well, they're back onto the Bane instead. No Fiend's Grip available here for Fly, makes it very hard to fight back, and he's down. That's 1 down. But can they get out now? Abed's hitting way too hard on the TA. But he runs out of his BKB. That's going to be enough for Abed to retreat, but Saberlight, he wants to go right back in after Watson, though. Watson with the Scythe of Vice out, going after Saberlight, though Saberlight does back himself out. Now Crit finally going down. Onto ATF they go, but Abed, he's gone a bit too far. He's down, no buyback available. Onto Arteezy, the last man standing here in this fight. And he is down, and I say last man, this is the actual last man, it's Saberlight, who came in to try and help out, but now he's down.
No buybacks.
Full team fight, or rather full team wipe, and no buybacks available.
That's just their high ground gone. They've got a tier 2 to keep watch up top. There are 2 siege creeps that can just naturally force that in. At least 2 set of racks going down here. You're stuck in a really dire spot now for Shopify Rebellion. That fight just did not go their way. The angles, the way it breaks out, the control coming out from Entity, that side of Vice kicking into gear for Watson, still holding on to the Aegis as well. A really good cheese pop coming out from Omar in the middle. And no, it's again, it's just harder for Shopify to try to engage into a fight that Entity are set up for. And that fight was certainly something they were ready for. They've got the they've actually got the Muerta Axe. I was wondering if Kataomi will push through with that. He does. So you do have the parting shot to bring the soul out. That could be a good save. Damage reduction is not to be scoffed at. 35% damage reduction in the middle of a fight is pretty damn good.
That certainly is. I mean, I don't think they need it right now anyway, to be fair. It seems like this game is well and truly over. But to be fair, there is 1 lane of barracks left here for Shopify to try and defend. So Entity, they will retreat. Play it safe, no need to rush this game. What is it, John?
No, Kataomi. He shuffled some items around. He dropped his boots to pick up the Ags. And then gave it to his courier. That was interesting. He takes his boots back. Of course, I was like, I don't know about no boots gameplay for Muerta. It's kind of cool. Probably not necessary.
You don't need boots if you're shooting a gun, Jonathan. You just kind of stand still and do it. That's the whole point, Jonathan. You got to follow the law here, Jonathan.
Yeah, but in CS2, I can see my feet now, Mike.
Oh!
So they have feet. They do
That's
have
a new
boots
feature.
on.
You'd love to
Someday
hear.
you can. I can't wait for my cosmetic boots. Get some good
can't wait
sneakers
to.
on.
I can't wait to gain access to CS2, John. Maybe one
Well,
day.
you don't even play, so shut your trap, Mike. You don't even play the damn game.
Shut up, you. Well, I'm not good at shooters, all right. I gotta play
I'm not
slower
either,
games like
Kevin.
this, okay? My hands are old.
Oh, so you say, Mike. So you say. What's not old is this game. 21 to 28. Well, Dota2 is an old game, but 21 to 28, 17k
Kinda
up
segues
for
that.
Entity. I don't know. It's 10 years. I forget. It's 10 years since Dota 2. It's been God knows how long since Dota in general.
Oh, bottom.
Man, it's.
Oh, Arteezy. Oh, he does manage to get away. Arteezy was walking right towards the Pango for a second, though. ATF may have an idea that the Pudge is actually around that bottom lane. Saberlight's going to TP at the bot lane by the outpost, as they know they're being chased right now. Arteezy will jump in. The Sand is the target they really want, and it seems like ATF might just go down, but a nice Burrow Strike and Global Silence is going to allow him to get away, and the hook will not land. Unfortunate. The Saberlight, top lane, getting caught by a dead shot, but is able to just kind of solo guide him back towards his team. He will be just fine. I mean, Shopify, they are trying to play this one out the best they can to give themselves a shot at a comeback here in Game 2. Again, 2 Raxes behind is not going to make it very easy, but they are trying.
And they can still clear out these super creeps, no problem with TA and Fudge. And kind of get a good grip in trying to regain some map control, or get some access to the jungle at the very least. But Entity are set up for that last set of racks. Looking for the high ground now, shoving in top. The illusions are becoming a massive nuisance to deal with.
Is under attack.
Artur?
Oh, bottom lane gets caught by the Hex. Pretty rough position for him. The calling will be dropped. Kataomi now getting to work, and well, there's that shot. The parting shot just not allowing him to get away, and Arteezy's just down. Goodness me.
He did try to hook himself with his soul.
Good.
Not quite enough to save him, but rather interesting. We finally see it in the game. I've never seen this in a pro game.
Wait,
at least. It's interesting.
It feels kind of broken,
Radiant are scanning.
right? I know it costs a lot, but it does feel pretty strong.
It is pretty strong. I think it's just core Muertas, which is what you see, don't necessarily build into that. Oh, Saberlight.
Hex does land. Saberlight forced to BKB TP away. Will be okay to do so. Top lane though, Entity are just slowly pushing in now. They'll hold on to that Radiant Triangle for a little bit. It seems like this time around they aren't going to wait for the Roshan. They're going to try and go for this. And why not? They are so far ahead. Hex is out. They caught Saberlight, but the Nightmare's going to allow him to get away. But how do you take the fight? How do you initiate this? There's Shopify Rebellion. They will try with Saberlight and the Starbreaker, but Katomi going to be just fine. And now the turnaround onto the Dawnbreaker. Saberlight just gets destroyed. Crit. He'll BKB and just try to move back in onto Watson, but he is so tanky on the Naga. Arbet's trying to get the damage out. In fact, Watson getting a little bit low now, and Arbet still chasing him, but Watson is actually going to survive with the mirror images. He'll avoid a hit. He'll make it out, and with the song, they'll all be able to retreat, it seems. Nobody getting caught so far by Shopify, and Kataomi, no, he's alright, they can't see him. Still trying onto Watson, but they just can't get within range.
That Naga short. Just a full reset out for Entity. Even if you re-engage for Shopify, could be still not the best circumstances for them. They're forced to buy back on Saberlight, so that's one less tool available for you as this game drags on. Roshan in half a minute. Entity can just kind of dip into that if they want before going for that last set of racks. 21 to 30, 24k lead up for Entity here. I think they might be able to even out the series. Maybe start that trend for the draws to come in, who knows?
TF handing over the tip again as Arteezy bit short on the hook. Doesn't quite get the TP cancel onto onto ATF. Yeah, I said they weren't going to wait for Roshan. I mean, Roshan is now up, so no need to wait. They're here right in time. Ag's now fully available on Watson to boot, so why the hell not? Roshan time it is. And Shopify, they are making their way over at the least through the bottom lane. They are smoked up as 5. Or rather as 3 right now. Entity aren't even in the Roshan pit yet. They haven't even started. Seems like they might prep for a fight first. Roshan will be scouted out. Shopify Rebellion might start it themselves with the way this game's going. And they will. Entity seem to be very well aware this is happening though, because they're starting to move in. The Deadshot giving all the info they require. ATF, Epicenter, cancelled once again, but he's thinking about it, and now with Arbet being caught out, it's like, why the hell not? They'll move right in. The global silence is popped. Who do they want to aim? They'll try for Fishman. The Fishman trying to back his way up, and Saberlight will chase him down. Meanwhile, Song is out from Watson, just locking everyone else down. Who's being aimed here? They're trapped in the Roshan pit now with this Naga Siren. Solar Guardian will come out from Saberlight towards the other way. Meanwhile, ATF just pouncing his way out. They'll finally get flying down on the bait, and now Arteezy locked in with Roshan. Does get taken out by Stormer. The buybacks are incoming from Shopify Rebellion, but it all seems too late. So maybe they can get ATF. They'll take him down, but it costs them Saberlight.
Dire are scanning.
And they call it. GG well played. They've seen enough. Entity, they managed the draw.
Yeah, I mean that.